A few times a year, all of our executive board members, the vice presidents general, and our state regents all gather in Washington, D.C. These groups together make up the National Board of Management. Well, during this special week in October, the national chairs are invited to attend as well. And in this past October, many attended a very special wreath laying at the memorial to the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence that lays on what is called Signers Island along the banks of Constitution Gardens Lake in the beautiful Constitution Gardens. This very special memorial was a gift from the American Revolution Bicentennial Administration and was dedicated on July 4th, 1984. Its beauty was even more impressive on this autumn day as nearly 100 daughters arrived to pay tribute. Under the direction of our President General Pamela Wright, Chaplain General Virginia Linglebach gave a very moving speech.
We are honored to place a wreath at this memorial, which was built in part to commemorate the bicentennial of American independence. This memorial honors the men who risked everything to sign the Declaration of Independence. The granite stones include facsimiles of their signatures, the location of their homes, and their occupations. An inscription at the south end of the walk reads, and I quote, "And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor."
We then had the honor of hearing from our President General.
It is my honor to pay respects to these men who sacrificed their lives and fortunes for our freedom. This often overlooked memorial was created by an act of Congress in April 1978, which authorized the Secretary of the Interior to memorialize the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence. The completed memorial was dedicated on July 2, 1984, 208 years after the Continental Congress voted in favor of independence. This memorial honors and celebrates the courage and vision of the American heroes who risked their lives to declare our independence from England. As President General, I am so proud that in the National Society's Americana collection is a collection of all the original signatures of the signers. The last signature to be added, the rarest and most valuable, was that of Georgia signer Button Gwinnett, which was acquired in 2002. Our exhibit includes a biography, signature, and portrait for each of the 56 signers. The collection was on display last October for all National Board members to view. I am also proud to remind everyone that last year the National Society contributed $250,000 to the Trust for the National Mall from the DAR insignia proceeds. This supported the redesign of this memorial in celebration of the 250th anniversary of our great nation. Thank you for joining me today for this special opportunity to pay our respects to these brave, heroic men.
Thank you, Madam President General. Following the benediction, the wreath will be placed by the President General and Adele Lancaster, National Chair, Constitution Week. And all others are asked to remain in place until after the wreath has been placed, at which time...
As Signers Island was not large enough for our whole assembly, we started our event on the banks of the lake and then processed to the island to officially lay the wreath and take photographs. The Declaration of Independence. It's a revolutionary document for a revolutionary statement. You cannot help but be stirred when you read those words. When Thomas Jefferson wrote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Well, even to this day, it's probably the most central difference between America and every other country in the world. And with regard to these unalienable rights, that was the first time anybody had bothered to write that down. When you turn the clock back and think about when Thomas Jefferson was writing that, how young he was, 33. What a statement it was, given the history of the world at the time. And you feel the excitement of being on the cusp of something so profound that it's hard to put into words. But in addition, besides telling us about the unalienable rights, this radical document was also roughly a 28-count indictment of King George. 56 signed the document, committed treason, trying to guarantee our right to pursue our own happiness. What sort of men were these? Well, 24 were judges and lawyers, 9 were farmers and plantation owners, 11 were merchants, the remaining 12 were doctors, ministers, and politicians, well-educated men who knew full well that signing such a document would mean certain death if they were captured. How many of our DAR members are descended from these brave souls? Of these 56, 5 were tortured and subsequently died. 12 had their homes ransacked and burned. 9 died fighting the Revolutionary War. This declaration that these 56 signers penned their names to, it goes well beyond what was needed in order to declare independence. It establishes a philosophical basis for a civil democracy in which all persons are guaranteed rights by virtue of their personhood. These political geniuses, they saw a new time for mankind, which is one with the thought that we can be free and we can make decisions for ourselves. This memorial to the 56 signers, here in this stretch of garden, may seem small, but the actions behind it, what it is celebrating, was the largest, grandest idea and experiment, one that carved and shaped our great nation. Let us always stay committed to these ideals, honoring the sacrifices of these patriots who endured much that we and all Americans might have a chance to see and participate in this free society.